Chapter 15, This Thing Called You, by Ernest Holmes. The wisest person who ever lived said that there is a truth which can set you free from fear, want, unhappiness, and finally death itself. They said that this truth is already within you. Nothing could be more wonderful than this. It is what you have been looking for, but hardly dared to believe. Suppose you accept this spiritual wisdom, since the one who gave it was able to prove their claims. Don't you think that this great and glorious person was telling you that the kingdom of your good is here today? No matter what the negations of yesterday may have been, your affirmations of today may rise triumphant over them. This is the highest hope ever placed before the vision of people's search for something that can make them whole. The evil of your yesterdays can vanish into nothingness. If you can see the beauty instead of ugliness, beauty will appear. Cease weeping over the mistakes of yesterday, and steadfastly beholding the face of the great and divine reality, walk in that light wherein there is no darkness. Say, I know that every negative condition of the past is swept aside. I refuse to see it or think about it. Yesterday is no longer here. Tomorrow has not yet arrived. Today is God's day. God's day is my day. Today, bright with hope and filled with promise, is mine. Today, my heart is without fear. I have implicit confidence in the good, the enduring, and the true. Today, I shall guard my thought and speech. I shall keep my consciousness steadfast with the realization that there is a spiritual power upon which I may rely. I shall turn resolutely to that divine source which knows no confusion, to that spiritual center which knows no fear. The Spirit is not afraid of anything. The divine has no enemies. The Spirit knows no opposites. Consciously, I draw close to my divine center, the source of all that is. I feel the warmth of its presence. I enter into a faith made perfect through love and confidence, an assurance made complete by the abandonment of myself to good. Acknowledging good in all my ways, desiring only the good for others, I rest in calm assurance. I open my consciousness to the realization that all the power and presence there is clothes me in its eternal embrace, that the Spirit forever imparts its life to me. I believe in myself because I believe in God. I believe in my destiny because I know that the law of good is operating through me. I have confidence in the future and enthusiastic expectation of good things to come. Therefore, I accept the fullness of life in this moment. Ask, and ye shall receive. This is one of the most wonderful statements ever uttered. It implies that there is a power which can and will honor your request. At the same time, Jesus said that you should not ask amiss. However, these two sayings of Jesus are not contradictory. They merely mean that you should ask in the nature of the divine life, which is love, truth, beauty, power, wisdom, goodness, and peace. Anything you ask in this nature, you have a right to expect to receive. But it is only as you let go of the lesser that you can take hold of the greater. Only as you drop confusion that you can entertain peace. Only as you transcend doubt and fear that you can be lifted up to the hilltops of the inner life. In asking, you must identify yourself with the greatness of the Spirit. This is the only way you can breathe this almighty power. Permit your consciousness, through faith, to rise to a greater and broader realization of that divine presence which is always delivering itself to you. believing that the divine mind is ever present, that divine intelligence is ever available. Open your consciousness to its guidance. Keep your mind steadfast and loyal to the thought that you are governed by this divine intelligence. Feel that you are impelled to make right decisions, that you are compelled to act upon these decisions intelligently, and to know that the power that is within you cannot desert you. Say, my knowledge that the great I am is ever available gives me an increasing capacity to draw upon it and to broaden and to become inwardly aware of the presence of spirit. Through the quiet contemplation of the omni-action of spirit, I learn to look quietly and calmly upon every false condition, seeing through it to the other side of the invisible reality which molds condition and recreates all my affairs after a more nearly divine pattern. With a penetrating spiritual vision, I can dissipate the obstruction, remove the obstacle, dissolve the wrong condition. Standing still, I can watch the sure salvation of the law. I now claim health instead of sickness, wealth instead of poverty, happiness instead of misery. Every thought of fear or limitation is removed from my consciousness. I know that my word transmutes every energy into constructive action, producing health, harmony, happiness, and success. I know that there is something at the center of my being which is absolutely certain of itself. It has complete assurance and gives me complete assurance that all is well. I maintain my position as a divine being here and now. I know that in this consciousness of reality is the supply to my every need, physical, mental, or spiritual, and I accept that supply in deepest gratitude. I am thankful that this is the way life fulfills my needs through the doorway of my inner self, and I am thankful that I know how to use this perfect law. I come to this great fountain of supply in the very center of my being to absorb that for which I have need, mentally and physically, and I am filled with the sense of reality of that which I desire. As I am filled with reality, I permit it to flow into my world of thought and action, knowing that it brings peace, harmony, order all around me. There arises within me limitless faith to the unconquerable presence, the perfect law, and divine action. Good is at the root of everything, regardless of its seeming absence. But this good must be recognized. Since there is but one spirit, and this spirit is in you and in everything, then everywhere you go, you will meet the spirit. You will meet the spirit in people, in places, and in things. There is a divine essence permeating everything, flowing through everything, becoming all things. This one spirit, which manifests itself in and through all, including yourself, automatically adjusts part to the whole. Therefore, you may accept with positive certainty that the spirit within you does go before you and prepares your way. This is no idle conclusion, no empty dream, no forlorn hope. Your faith is placed in something positive, certain as the laws of life, exact as the principle of mathematics, ever present, like the ethers of space, ever operating like the laws of nature. Say, I know that the spirit within me goes before me, making perfect, plain, straight, easy, and happy the pathway of my experience. There is nothing in me that can obstruct the divine circuits of life, of love, of beauty, and of truth. My word dissolves every negative thought or impulse that would throw a shadow of unbelief across the threshold of my expectation. Today I have faith that my word shall not return unto me void. I surrender myself completely to this faith. My prayer, then, is one of affirmation and acceptance. I lift my cup of acceptance, knowing that the divine outpouring will fill it to the brim. Today, I consciously identify myself with everything that belongs to goodness, truth, and beauty. I identify myself with abundance and success. I identify myself with the living spirit, with all the power, all the presence, and all the life there is. Realizing that all action starts in and is a result of consciousness, prepare your mind to receive the best that life has to offer. Become increasingly aware of the one presence, the one life, and the one spirit, which is God. Try to drop all sense of lack or limitation from your thought, knowing that your word is of truth is the law of God in you, and believing that this law is perfect, you must become consciously aware that it is operating in your affairs. The Spirit works for you through your belief. All things are possible to the Spirit. Therefore, everything is possible to you in such degree as you can believe in and accept the operation of Spirit in your life. There is something within you which is completely aware of its oneness with power, of its unity with life. Loose all thoughts of discord and fear, and permit the true pattern to come to the surface. Remember that thought patterns are acquired. Therefore, the mind that accepted them can reject them. No doubt, most of these patterns are unconsciously taken into the mind. This makes no difference at all. What is there you can consciously loose, drop it out of your thoughts, refuse to think about it. Refuse to feed it with the fire of imagination and feeling. Having nothing to live on, it will shrivel up and disappear. It is only the thought that is nourished that grows. The weeds are no longer there when they are pulled up, and the place where they were forgets that they have ever been. Say, I allow the divine wholeness to flow through me in ever-widening circles of activity. Every good I have experienced is now increased. Every joy that has come into my life is now multiplied. There is a new influx of inspiration into my thought. I see more clearly than ever before that my divine birthright is freedom, joy, and eternal goodness. I realize that this same birthright is bequeathed to all people. I rejoice that everyone has this common good. The divine presence interprets itself to me through love and friendship, through peace and harmony. Knowing that life gives according to my faith, I lift my mind. I elevate my faith. I listen deeply to the song of my being. You have been told that all things are possible to those that believe. Accepting this as a principle of your being and analyzing it to the logical conclusion, you have come to understand that faith is not a nebulous something. It is an actual idea, a definite mental attitude, a positive acceptance. Not positive from the standpoint of willpower or compelling things to happen, not positive from the standpoint of influencing people or things, not positive from the standpoint of holding thoughts in ever-tightening grip. Your faith is positive when that which your intellect announces is no longer denied by the accumulated power of thought held in the subconscious part of your mind. Faith is most certainly a mental attitude. When a certain person came to Jesus and said, Lord, I believe, help thou mine unbelief. They were but showing how human we all are, how human you are, how human everyone is. From the inspiration of their hope and the enthusiasm of the occasion, standing in the light of one whose wick of life was ever kept trimmed and burning, feeling the warmth and color of its eternal glow, they exclaimed, I believe. This was a simple, sincere, and enthusiastic response to the consciousness of one who had faith. But no sooner had they exclaimed, I believe, out of the enthusiasm of their will to believe, than old thought patterns arose to block their faith, and they said, help thou my unbelief. Now this person was not a weak character. They were just a human being on the same quest in which all humanity is engaged. They were but showing that faith is more than an objective statement, that perfect faith cannot exist while there are subjective contradictions that deny the affirmation of the lips. It is only when the intellect is no longer obstructed by negative emotional reactions arising out of the experiences of doubt and fear that the word of the mouth can immediately bear fruit. There is nothing in this thought to be discouraged about, for the very fact that thoughts are things also carries with it this divine connotation that the thinker can change their thoughts, that they really are the master of their fate. The masters of their fate. You are the thinker. You are the creator of thought patterns. You are the master of your fate, but you must exercise this mastership. Say, I believe with a deep inward calm that my word of faith is the execution of the spiritual law in my life. I know that my word penetrates any and every unbelief in my thought. It casts out fear, removes doubt, and permits that which is enduring, perfect, and true to enter into my consciousness. I have complete conviction that my thoughts are not only true, but that they will be carried out in my experience with mathematical certainty. I have absolute reliance upon the law of good. I know that the spirit, which is life, is present everywhere. Like the air I breathe, it presses against me on the mountaintop, in the valley, in the desert, on the ocean. It is ever present. I accept this presence with complete confidence. I believe that the law of good will bring everything desirable into my experience. Today I proclaim my divine inheritance. I am rich with the richness of God. I am strong with the power of God. I am guided by the wisdom of God. I am held in the goodness of God today. The Spirit of God is an undivided and indivisible wholeness. It fills all time with its presence and people, space with the activity of its thought. It is, of course, difficult for the human mind to understand the meaning of such an all-encompassing presence. However, perhaps the greatest difficulty is that we try to make it too abstract. You already know that you live. You know that your life is peopled with events, persons coming and going, happenings that take place in your everyday experience, the thoughts in your own mind, the activities of your own affairs, the circulation of blood in your body. Don't you think that this is the place to begin? You already understand the presence of life. It's not difficult after all. Your endeavor then is not so much to find God as it is to realize its presence and to understand that this presence is always with you. Nothing could be nearer to you than that which is the very essence of your being. Your outward search for God culminates in the greatest of all possible discoveries, the finding of it at the center of your own being. Life flows up from within you. Say, I know that my search is over. I am consciously aware of the presence of Spirit. I have discovered the great reality. I am awake to the realization of this presence. There is but one life. Today I see it reflected in every form, back of every countenance, moving through every act, knowing that the divine presence is in every one I meet. The Spirit is in all people. I salute the good in everything. I recognize the God life responding to me from every person I meet, in every event that transpires, in every circumstance in my experience. I feel the warmth and color of this presence, forevermore pressing against me, forevermore welling up from within me, the wellspring of eternal being present yesterday, today, tomorrow, and always. Did you ever stop to realize that the peace must actually exist at the center of everything? And if you ask yourself why, answer your own question, because in the long run, you will have to do this anyway. No one can answer your questions for you but yourself. Your very nature has willed it so. Peace must exist at the center of everything, or the universe itself would be a chaos. You already know this and believe it. Now you are going to act upon it. You are not only going to believe it, you are going to act as though it were true, because it is true. There is peace at the center of your being, a peace that can be felt throughout the day and in the cool of the evening, when you have turned from your labor and the first star shines in the soft light of the sky. It broods over the earth quietly, tenderly, as a mother watches over her child. Say, in this peace that holds me so gently, I find strength and protection from all fear or anxiety. It is the peace of God in which I feel the love of a holy presence. I am so conscious of this love, this protection, that every sense of fear slips away from me as mist fades in the morning light. I see good in everything, God personified in all people, life manifest in every event. Today, you are to identify yourself with the most abundant life, to think on those things which make for peace, to dwell on the unity which underlies everything. As you consciously poise yourself in the realization that you live in pure spirit, new power will be born within you. You will find yourself renewed by the divine life, led by the divine intelligence, and guarded by the divine love. Focus your inward vision on this indwelling harmony, knowing that as you contemplate its perfection, you will see it manifest in everything you do. Say, realizing that the Spirit within me is God, the living Spirit Almighty, being fully conscious of this divine presence as the sustaining principle of my life, I open my thought to its influx. I open my consciousness to its outpouring. I let that mind be in me which was also in Christ Jesus. This is the mind of truth, the mind of God, carrying with it all the power of the infinite. I know and understand that God alone is real. I know that silently I am drawing into my experience today and every day an ever-increasing measure of truth and beauty, of goodness and harmony. Everything I do, say, and think is quickened into right action, into productive action, into increased action. My invisible good already exists. My faith, drawing upon this invisible good, causes that which was unseen to become visible. And all there is mine now. All there ever was or ever will be is mine now. Chapter 15, This Thing Called You, by Ernest Holmes.